hello. Hi there. Welcome back to another live stream. Ask me anything. How may I serve you today? If you are new to this, I'm here almost on a daily basis, except for when I'm out of town, for a season, for as long as I wake up each day looking forward to these live streams. And I don't see that coming to an end anytime soon. I do not have any sort of presentation for you. I have nothing that I'm going to do as far as an educational bit. I'm not here to perform or entertain you at all. Although, if you are so inclined to hang out with me, by all means, feel free to join and stick around. Right now, I'm only speaking to those who are watching the replay. Not anyone that I can see has joined us yet, although I'm not sure how accurate my numbers are from each of the three services. I am streaming live to LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. And I have a live Zoom call open up waiting for anyone to go to cliffravenscraft.com/join. This is my opportunity to just make myself available to be of support and encouragement to folks. It's not a part of a sales funnel. It's not a marketing effort. It is simply the one thing that I love doing more than anything else, and that is just making myself available for support and encouragement. Let's see here. I see that I've got 1 hour and 28 minutes. I am simply anyone will join me during one of these live sessions. There's certainly no understanding currently who will join me, if anyone does, and what we will talk about. But all of that is up to divine timing, just the flow of life as it is. And I am simply going to sit here and wait for the first person to join me. So with that, I'm just going to throw this up here on the screen. I'm going to mute myself, and that is it. I'll just wait on Zoom. And by the way, feel no pressure to join me. Do not join the Zoom call just because it's like, well, gosh, Cliff's just sitting there. I should join him. That's not what this is for. I just want to have I want to make it available for anyone who could use some support, some encouragement. If you want to have a conversation about a topic, by all means, join me. Yeah, that's it. All right. let's see here. Shannon says, I love it. Awesome. And says, I have nothing to ask. However, the universe is telling me something and you are part of it. Awesome. Well, Shannon, I'm sorry, if you would, uh, like right here, don't scroll past the nudge. If something in you is leaning forward, even if you don't know why, follow it. I'm here and the Zoom room is open. So all you have to do is go to cliffravenscraft.com/join. Feel free to log into the Zoom call from your desktop and or your phone, and you'll be up here with me. So would love to do that. Looks like Orlando Rodriguez is getting ready to join us. So we'll talk to Orlando here in just a moment. Orlando, do you have video and audio? Or is that Shannon?
Hey, can you hear me?
So let's see here. You're muted right now. So
Let me see
actually, no,
audio.
you're not. It's probably me. Hold on one second. I have had this issue a handful of times. Let's see here. Can you say something now? Are you there? Okay. Got no audio
How
from
about
you.
now?
Yes, I got you. Is that Orlando? All
That
right.
is Orlando.
All right. Orlando, let me pull you up here.
Yes.
Orlando, how can I be of service to you today?
I'm actually I actually just saw you on LinkedIn and decided to join. I didn't know be the first one getting asked or asking something. Um, uh, so I don't have all like e-com and whatever, but those businesses are not doing great or anything at all right now. I used to work for a digital marketing firm, and basically my experience is HR and operations related. Um, Job market's been rough, and I'm just thinking, you know, consulting wise or helping other businesses is what interests me. How do you go about? Everybody knows their strength, and my strength is not sales. Um, I can sell and whatnot, but generating leads to be able to get in touch with either business owners or be able to help small and medium businesses with HR is not something that I am that is my particular core strength. My core strength is consulting in HR, setting up an HR department from scratch. I've done all of that, internal operations and whatnot, but sales itself is the one piece of the puzzle that I've never really had as a strength. I'm very technologically savvy. Whether it's AI, building a website, doing a social media campaign, um, name the software, I probably know how to use it. At the very least, I've tested it. So none of that is a problem for me. It's the actual um, sales funnels to generate leads and be able to even the talking about sales is not a problem for me. It's actually getting in front of people or finding the right people to talk to and follow up with. That's the biggest issue for me.
Gotcha.
So
You
any suggestions? Sorry.
well, so there's a little bit of a lag between us as far as the internet is concerned, and you kind of popped
Yes.
in and out there at the very beginning. So I want to make sure I captured the beginning of what you said. Uh, you mentioned something about e-commerce, and I heard the phrase e-commerce, but then you completely dropped out. And then you said you have a desire to work with people in your strength of helping them with HR. And is my understanding that you want to become a consultant with people and help and work with various different companies with their HR related issues? Let's start from there.
Yes.
First of all, what were you saying about e-commerce, and then
Okay.
expand on what I'm asking there.
Perfect. So, and let me know if I cut out. So on the e-commerce side is I do have like an online store um, for merch and things like that, like custom designs and whatnot. that's kind of more of my creative outlet, and a small side gig that I'm trying to grow as an extra income stream.
Okay.
Professionally, my experience is in HR and operations. Um, and after the last business that I was working at for the last 8 years, separated late last year in Q4, I have not found another job, and my interest is consulting small and medium businesses on their HR needs. In my experience, small and medium businesses, as they're growing rapidly, one of the last things they address is their HR needs because they're focused on growing headcount. There's a lot of legal forgivings that happen sub 25 employees, and companies don't notice what happens once you start growing past that, and the systems they need. And I believe I could assist them in that. That's what I really do like to do for businesses. So yes, my interest is in consulting businesses, but I am not, however, I am not great at generating leads or creating that system. So that would be one area for improvement for myself.
Okay. And so if you had a
Did
very
I did I
specific,
cut out a lot or anything?
you're about 92% of everything you said came through with no problem at all, and little glitches here and there. It's just a little bit of lag in the internet. But if you were to dial down, because I understand that you have an e-commerce site with some merch and stuff like that. It's a little side gig. Your real focus right now is your professional desire to get back into the HR work. You worked with a company as an HR specialist for 8 years. That company, that job went away a few months ago, and you've not yet been able to find a new place of employment. And your current desire is to be the type of person who can help small businesses who are crossing that threshold of 25 employees, and yet your concern is that you're not that great at sales and generating leads. So if you had a very specific question related to that, what would that question be?
The question would be, what would be the best way to generate leads as an individual with a limited budget, um, that is technologically savvy, so I can set up systems and whatnot if I needed to. But what system is the one that actually makes sense for my situation?
Okay.
Um,
Let me ask you this. Have you done any research to find other people who are doing the type of work that you're doing that is actually succeeding?
I have not. Um, what I see, it's a lot of position openings, of trying to hire those people, but the market, you apply for jobs and you don't find anything. Finding actual individuals that are doing it, I actually find businesses that are doing it, like small businesses that have, 5, 10 employees and whatnot.
Okay. So do you know anybody yet that is a consultant who comes in and advises in the area of HR to the size of businesses that you want to serve?
I do not.
Okay. The first thing that I would do in your position, assuming that you're absolutely gung ho, I want to go the self employed consultant route. If that is
Mhm.
absolutely the case, that you don't want to go find that next job where you can just be the HR person and just do your expertise every day without concerning yourself with this thing that you perceive to be a skill that you don't have. But if you're absolutely convinced, I'm ready, my passion, when I think about what do I want to do each day, I want to wake up and I want to serve a handful of companies that could benefit greatly from my HR knowledge and wisdom and experience. And I just know for a fact that I can help them avoid some of the biggest pains and biggest problems and real potential issues. I could help them avoid it if only I was able to figure out the sales thing. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much does the idea of figuring this out excite you, and this is your path and you know this is what you're meant to do?
I would say an 8.5 or 9.
Okay, fair enough. That's pretty close. So if that's the case, here's what I would do in that scenario.
Mm.
I would make a list of 10 people who full-time self-employed are consultants who show up and advise companies similar to the ones that you have in your mind as an ideal target audience who are financially succeeding in their own business doing what it is that you want to do. And I don't know anybody off the top of my head that does this in the area of HR, but I know a ton of people who do what's called fractional CMO for marketing, fractional CFO, fractional whatever. I mean, and so you could be a fractional HR specialist. And the first thing that I would do is I would actually go and see if I could do a Google search for fractional HR specialist and see if there's anybody out there that does this work already or anything related to it. And then I would actually ask around. I would reach out to a bunch of companies that are people that are the size of companies that you're looking for and say, who helps you with your HR stuff? And see if they have somebody full-time and or on a consulting basis that does this. But if I were in your shoes, Orlando, what I'd be doing, I would spend several hours a day, certainly at least several hours a week, but I would
Mm.
consistently work to find 10 people who are already succeeding and making a living at the level you want to succeed. I'd find 10 people. And then what I would
Okay.
do is I would reach out to those 10 people and learn everything I can learn about how it is they built their business. How do they get leads? That's where
Okay.
you'll find your answer.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Do you
Thank
think
you. That'll be.
is that a path that wasn't consciously you were not consciously aware of? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how does that feel for you as a next logical step, or does it not have enough life? I want to get a real genuine gauge about how you feel about the response that I just gave you.
Well, I actually feel very good. So I would say like a 7 or 8 out of 10. I Out of all the terms consultant this and whatnot that I've heard, I've never heard of a fractional HR or fractional CMO. So that's something I immediately already started Googling and finding more information about. So yes, I'm very interested in learning more and start looking if I can find some individuals that I could hopefully get 5 minutes of FaceTime just to learn a little more about how they have gone about growing their business.
You know what I love about this, Orlando, is oftentimes when we think, oh, this is what I feel like I need this system. I need to implement this thing. I need to figure out the entire process. And boy, I wonder if there's one person out there that has a framework or a formula or a course or a book that will just tell me exactly what to do. And
Exactly.
don't get me wrong, there are plenty of people they'll have those things to sell you. Whether or not they will work for you, I don't know. But none of those actually come to my mind. But what I do know is anytime I've ever wanted to do something that I didn't know how to do, the first thing that I do is find out, is there anybody else already doing it? And oftentimes it's not about knowing how everything is going to work out. It's just, what is the next right step? And I can already envision, it's like you've never heard of fractional CMOs or fractional CFOs or fractional this, fractional that. It is an entire new category that is so widespread today because, well, companies don't have the finances and infrastructure for full-time every single responsibility that's necessary to run a company today. And
Yeah.
oftentimes it's like, I don't need you 40 hours a week as an employee, but boy,
Yeah.
I could really use your expertise and your help and input, somewhere between 5 to 15 hours a month or whatever it looks like. But what I love about this is you're going to go and you're going to search, what is this world of fractional whatever? You're going
Hmm.
to find people who are doing what you're doing, and it's going, the next step after that will then reveal itself, and all
Yep.
sorts of new insights of and how you can do it. But there is one other thing that I will that I'd like to just address real quickly. And that is the idea of I'm not that skilled at sales. And if there's
Hmm.
one thing that I'd love to ask you is when you say sales, what comes to your mind?
So when I say I'm not that skilled at sales, I meant the sales itself is not something that concerns me. Those sales closing conversations, it's the lead generation.
It's the lead
Um,
generation. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I'm not as skilled.
Yeah. And so that is something that I would probably look into maybe some different books that talk about marketing
Hmm.
lead generation, but not at the exclusion of what I talked about first. I mean, the shortcut to your success is finding a group of 10 people that are already succeeding, and they will have all of the answers you need. You're not gonna, you may not get a short, 5 to 10 minute FaceTime call with all 10 of them, but out of 10, it's very likely that two or three of them are going to want to help you out, and it's going to reveal so much to you. But it is something that I would definitely look into. Some people out there, I would research and ask some folks. Say, hey, what are some books and or tools or frameworks or courses on lead generation for this very particular type of business or this particular type of um, target audience that I'm going after? And those do exist out there as well. They're not, it's not something that I have off the top of my head, but if you feel good about your actual ability to close a sale and have a conversation and show, and then that's not an issue. But yeah, finding people and getting leads is a significant part of the puzzle. Those 10 people will be very helpful and they will just share with you what they figured out over the last few decades of their life and what's working for them now. You'll probably find that some people who will be doing exactly what it is that you're doing, like specifically HR, and some of them will
Hmm.
be closely guarded, fearing that you might be competition. Others will be more open minded. If you run across 4 or 5 or 6 people and they're like, dude, why would I tell you what works for me if you're going to go out and do what I'm doing? If you have a number of those in a row, whatever you do, don't come to any sort of conclusion that that's how everyone is. Just move on to the next person. Somebody out there is willing to help you
Yeah.
with what they've already learned, and they recognize, you know what, there's more than enough work out there for all of us.
Yes.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much for joining me,
Exactly.
Orlando.
Yeah. I appreciate it.
It is my
Thanks
pleasure.
for the help.
Absolutely. You have a wonderful day and join me anytime here, all right? All right. Many blessings.
All right. Take care.
All right, we're going to bring Shannon up next. Hold on one second.
Cliff,
Go ahead, Shannon. How can I be of service to you today?
well, I love that you said that. I wanted to actually thank you because a girlfriend of mine and I were on and we were talking about how we need to motivate each other. And then I popped on Facebook because I wasn't that motivated. And then I saw join me. And I thought,
Well, if
all we're
you've
literally
come to the
doing,
right place for motivation.
yeah, all we're literally going to do is get on a Teams call for 4 hours, 2 days a week. And we're just going to work side by side like we're in an office together. So I literally typed out to you as you were talking to Orlando about, is there such a thing as a fractional HR? Because I'm doing fractional CEO work right now.
Yeah.
So Orlando, if you're still listening, um, if you find if you find somebody in private equity, they use a lot of fractional CEOs, COOs. I've never heard of a fractional HR. That doesn't mean it doesn't exist, Cliff, like you were saying. But if you just
Yes.
find one good private equity company and they like you, you'll go boop, 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 all the
Yeah.
way around. And that could solve all your stuff. Again, like Cliff said, though, don't do that first. Find find other people.
Yeah.
So,
And
Cliff, I just wanted to let
they
you know
may
you've
not be
already
labeled,
helped me.
they may not be the label of fractional HR, but there, I know for a fact there are HR consultants. And so
Absolutely.
and but I'm glad that he's going to go down the route and just at least explore what the fractional is, because it at least will show him how viable that market is.
Right. And if you
And
didn't know it
lead gen
existed,
the wisdom and experience of lead gen would equally apply to somebody who
Oh
is an
yeah.
HR consultant. All right, Shannon. So
That was all. I
you
just want to tell you already
is that
helped
it?
me. That was
Oh,
it.
okay.
You already helped me. I've listened to you speak several times. Are you still speaking at it was a book. It was a for authors.
Tribe conference.
Tribe.
Jeff
Yeah.
Goins.
Yeah, do those still exist?
No, I did the closing keynote for his final one back in, I think, 2019. So he hasn't done any of those since 2019. But yeah, that was a great event. So you know Jeff?
I was the coffee lady.
Oh, really? At the factory?
Yeah, at the factory, yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, did Matt and Lauren Brady bring you in to do that?
They did.
Awesome.
So at the time, I was, starting that business with my brother,
Okay.
and he had told me that, coffee catering just catering wasn't a thing for coffee, and I was like, "It is. It
Yeah.
is."
I'm
And I've
surprised they
always been
didn't
a
bring you in for our Free the Dream conference. So you didn't.
They did, they wanted to, but I moved. I sold that
Ah,
business and moved to South Florida, bought a bakery, and then COVID hit, so I went back into corporate America.
awesome. And by the
Um,
way,
but
Orlando says at Shannon Mitchell, thank you. I will look into it. So he was still
oh,
listening.
perfect.
Awesome.
Good, Orlando. Good. Yeah, I went back into corporate America and, am no longer living the dream of making coffees and, um, baking for a living. It was super fun while it lasted, but now I'm back into CEO and stressful life for probably 5 more years, and then I'll retire, rebuy a portable espresso machine
Mm-hmm.
and rebake for a living instead of for stress relief.
Gotcha.
So it'll be fun.
So is there any other conversation, any other topic, anything that I can do in any way to be of support or encouragement?
No, you were already. So I just wanted to let you know that by you just taking this step and saying, "How can I serve you today?" You did. You made a
Awesome.
difference in my life, and so thank you. If this is, I don't know, is this your first time doing this or?
No, I've been doing this almost daily, Monday through Friday, for a minimum of 90 minutes. And outside of vacation or being out of town, I've been doing it for the last 6 or 7 weeks.
I love it. It gives me the chills. So
Yeah, it's
thank
fun.
you
It's
for,
fun.
yeah, thanks for making a difference in people's lives because God knows we all we all need it right now, and what a great opportunity to serve. And I mean, shoot, I might steal it in a couple of years.
Excellent.
So
Absolutely. Hey, there's enough room for us all to go live.
I I agree.
Can
I love what you
can
said to Orlando with that of that different mindset, you know? Because my dad always taught me there are so many people who've got that scarcity mindset, and I've always been of the mindset of, "Man, there's enough. Like, please compete with me because if you're strong, I'm strong. So please, like, compete with me. Like, let's all rise together. And there's enough work out there. And the better you are, the better I am, instead of being scarce about it, because then nobody wins." So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, thank you.
Absolutely. My pleasure. Shannon, thank you for joining me on the Zoom call. It's always a delight when I'm here and somebody does participate in the Zoom conversations. It's never an expectation, but it's always a joy when it happens. So feel free to join me anytime.
Thank you. I might just sit silently with you a couple days a week and get my work done.
Sounds great. You can
All
you
right.
can you are invited to sit silently inside of the Zoom call. I'm also streaming live as you saw on Facebook and YouTube and the
Yeah.
LinkedIn and anywhere you want to sit. The space is open for encouragement and for anyone. So by all means.
Thanks, Cliff.
All right, and we will be here on the side. I'll go ahead and let's see, can I take you off of the screen? There we go. And with that, I will go back over to this little slide here. I do still have Shannon and also Orlando on Zoom. They're just standing by. But I'm leaving the Zoom room open. I'm here for another 58 minutes minimum. I will stay longer if there are people in queue by the end of my time that's scheduled here today. How this works, it's an Ask Me Anything session. We could just have a conversation if you want to just have a conversation. If you want to brainstorm something you're working on, you want to get some feedback, you got a question where you're stuck, if you could use some support and encouragement, you can ask me anything, literally any topic. All you need to do is go to cliffravenscraft.com/join. cliffravenscraft.com/join. Come into the Zoom call on your desktop or your phone. It will work either way. And with that, I'm just going to sit here on mute until the next person joins. There's a part of me that wonders that as I sit here, if it's possible to simultaneously create Zoom or Loom videos. I have a list of about 90 people I want to create a Loom video invitation for the Free the Dream workshop. But I'll get started on that afterwards because I could do it on my phone. That's a possibility. It's not ideal. Nah, I'll wait. It's not that important that I do it right now. Shannon asks, what is a Loom video? Shannon, if you want me to bring you back up on screen, I would be delighted to answer that question, but feel no pressure to do so. My one thing I just share with you that I don't want to do is monologue, because if I monologue as I'm doing this, people will be entertained and they'll just stay tuned to what I'm saying, and they won't feel as compelled to click that Zoom link to interact with me. And so I'm trying to foster dialogue in these conversations, and it prompts people to come through. So I see you're back up, so feel free, ask me all about Loom.
Okay, what's a Loom video?
A Loom video is so first of all, Loom is a tool that allows you to do video recordings. You could do them from your phone, or from, in my case, I have the camera that I'm using right here is an Insta360 link. It's not a 360. It is an Insta. Is it? No, it's not a 360. Yeah, it is a 360. Anyway, it's a Insta-Link camera. It's a webcam, super high def.
Okay.
And of course I have my nice microphone hooked up to my computer. So what I can do is just imagine, so what I would do is I would click this little button and it would hit, I would hit record, and imagine I hold this up like this. And because the first 3 seconds of that video is going to be a motion GIF animation that will show up in as a thumbnail like this. So I hold this up and I would say, hey, Shannon, Cliff Ravenscraft here. I just want to let you know I have one of these workshop workbooks for the Free the Dream workshop reserved for you. I know that you mentioned the other day via email that you are very much interested in joining the Free the Dream workshop coming up on Friday and Saturday, July 29th and 30th. I have a seat reserved for you and for anyone else that you want to bring along. I haven't seen your registration come through, though, so I wanted to make sure that you are aware that it's only 2.5 weeks away, and I would love to see you there face to face 2 days together to get out of your thing. And so I basically would create this very personal video invitation. It's very clear that this is not automated. It is not one of those things that's scalable. It's not something that I've created once and I've sent it to everybody on my list. It's very personal to you, and it has details about you in the video from the beginning throughout the entire video. And then I hit stop. And as soon as I hit stop, that video is instantly available. So I go over and I can actually click a link and just copy a link to that video. And by the way, I pay for the AI tool that goes with it. So it automatically transcribes that video. It automatically summarizes what this video is. And I can click the little link. And if I have these people as contacts in my phone, I could just click a link or paste the link in a text message with them. And it instantly has a little thumbnail, and it's got this, with me.
Yeah.
So, and so they'll click on it. And as soon as they click play on that video and watch it, once it's complete, I immediately get an email notification letting me know that that person has watched that message. They have the ability to reply with video. They have the ability to comment. They have the ability to do all of that stuff. Now, another thing that they have is there's the ability to copy an embed for the thumbnail. So most of these I send via Gmail, my normal email service. And so I would just address it to you and I would put in the subject line personal video invite to Free the Dream Workshop. And I'd say, Shannon, I created this personal video message just for you. And then below that, I would hit paste, and it would actually put the embedded thumbnail, and the image is right there in the
In the
email.
link.
And it's got a link above that says click here to watch the video. The little thumbnail that's animated of me doing
Yeah.
this in your
Yeah.
inbox is a link. But I also then copy that link and take the personal video message and also make that a hyperlink to it as well, because some people have images turned off, in
Right.
image previews turned off. Anyway, but then I put a little bit of a personal message at the top, and then if I actually mentioned, hey, here's a link to episode number 787 that answers any question you have about this workshop. Also, freethedreamworkshop.com is where you can reserve your seat today. And then I hit send. And so what I can tell you is I used to do this to sell my podcasting A to Z course, and I did it for my Free the Dream conference and all this other stuff. There are people who said, Cliff, out of all of the emails that I receive, I delete almost everything, but your video message is what caught my attention. And it's ultimately the reason I ended up hiring you one-on-one as my coach, and it's
Right.
just your personal approach. Meanwhile, by the way, I just watched, I was just scrolling through Facebook as I was sitting here waiting for the next conversation. I saw a little ad that says, AI just created 450 videos for me, and it can do it for you too. And by the way, it only took me 23 minutes to set up. And by the way, this image of me, that's not even real. And it's like, oh, yay, that's exactly what people want.
Thank you. That's where I'm like, I get AI has a point, it has a purpose. I'm totally using AI in my business. And there's also a point where you have to be personal. So I love that you're doing the personal, because I'm looking at people's LinkedIn pages and they've got an AI image of themselves. And I'm like, that's not you.
Yeah.
That's an AI version. And I wish everybody I coach, I've been like, look, you want to look better in real life than you do on your LinkedIn. Because the last thing you want is when you walk in for people to go, oh, who's that?
Yeah.
So quit having AI do all that stuff. So I love that you're doing that. Do you do that for all of your attendees, or just the people who have not registered yet? They've been to another one of your conferences and they have not yet registered.
I do everything I do by inspiration only. So there's nothing that I do that is absolute standard. I do this for every way. I do that. I follow whatever's in my heart at any given moment of any given day.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I like that.
now, can I tell you, would it be impactful if I did this for everyone all the time? Yeah, it would. But I don't always have the energy for that. Sometimes it's like, you know what? I think what I want to do right now is, and it could be an infinite number of other things. And
Right.
creating Loom videos for everyone is just not, and it's like, oh, but there's still that group of people. You know what? I'll just send a blast email to everybody on my list.
Right. The Loom video is a nice touch, though. I like that.
Yeah. And by the way, Loom videos don't have to be personalized. They're going back to the original question, what is Loom? Here's another use for Loom. It is a screen recording tool as well. So not only can it capture your camera, it can also capture your desktop or just a window on your desktop. And somebody might ask you a technical question. Hey, how do I do this in such and such software? And then what I could do is I could just open up the page where I'm about ready to demonstrate that. And then you can choose to have your image in a circle overlay on top of that screen recording, and you can move it anywhere you want it to be. But you hit record and then say, Shannon, so I've loaded up the software here. So the first thing you want to do, and I'm literally narrating everything that you're going to do to be able to learn how to get access or to perform the thing that I'm showing you how to do. And so I used to be known as the podcast answer man, and I would answer people's technical questions related to podcasting. And
Yeah.
oftentimes I was showing them how to do things with software. And so most of my video or answers to their technical questions were something like Loom videos. I was using something different before that was more manual, but
Yeah.
so back in the day, I was using a software tool called ScreenFlow, which would allow me to do everything that I was talking about. But I would upload those videos to my YouTube channel as unlisted videos, and then I would send the link to the unlisted video on YouTube to them. But Loom makes it so much easier.
I like that.
So that's what Loom is.
Thank you. What's the name of your podcast?
So I have more than 55 different podcast shows and over 4,800 podcast episodes. But my main podcast is called The Cliff Ravenscraft Show.
Is that your favorite one also? Or do you have a
Oh,
main
come
and a
on now.
favorite?
That's like asking me which of my 3 kids is my favorite.
Well, you have one, you're just not allowed to say it out loud.
That's not true. I do not have
Well,
a
they
favorite.
differ in different seasons of their life because I have
Sure.
3 children and one day one's my favorite, the next day the other one is.
The show that I would recommend most people, especially in a setting like this, for you, the first show that I would recommend as your first experience of a podcast from me would be The Cliff Ravenscraft Show.
Okay.
Yeah. And just start with the
And
most recent episode and then whatever you feel led to do.
all right, I'm going to listen to your shows.
So if I'm not mistaken, Shannon, remind me, you said that you first discovered me when you were doing the coffee catering for the Tribe conference.
Yeah.
And did you start following me on Facebook because of that? Is that how we got connected originally?
Yeah.
Okay. And so we are Facebook friends then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I logged into Facebook because I got a messenger thing and it said Cliff is live. And I was like, huh.
Nice. Thank you, Facebook.
Yeah, I was like, oh, hey, Cliff. And then I was like, oh, I'm the only person on here. Hey, Cliff. And then I was like, well, I'm going to see what Cliff is doing.
So that
because your speaking has always been so dynamic. And so I learned a lot about public speaking from watching all of you guys. And I do public speaking. So it was very much a benefit to me as I'm sitting there and everybody's thinking, oh, she's just the coffee lady. And it was remarkable to me how many people treated me like I was just the coffee lady. And it made me very much aware of the way that I treat other people and that I need to make sure that I never treat anybody like they are just a something, because that doesn't feel good.
Yeah, that's a beautiful insight. It reminds me of, there's the question, so what do you do is this thing. So we can put each other into some sort of bucket and it's a role that you carry. And I think so many people do confuse what people do as who they are.
Yeah. Yeah. It was shocking to me because I'd never been in a situation like that. And it was shocking to me how many people would come up and say, well, has this motivated you to write a book? And I'd say, well, actually, I have 5 published books.
Nice.
And they're like, wait, what?
What are your books? What are the topics of your books?
They're actually, all of them were just money makers. They are all on real estate investing. Okay. So they were all just conversations with. And then I have 3 books that are not published. 2 are my grandmother's story. 1 is her story from her childhood, from her eyes as a child looking forward or in real time. And then 1 is her story as a 97-year-old woman looking back. And then the 3rd one is my story, which is I am Gloria's granddaughter. So she has asked me to wait to publish those until she dies, because there's so much in her story that she's just embarrassed of. And I just said, Grandma, it was so nice interviewing her. I didn't have a relationship with her growing up because I didn't have a relationship with my mom. And I had the opportunity to literally rescue her from Costa Rica on a medical evac jet. She fell when she got there, and we didn't know until she'd been there 90 days. And she had just basically been in a hospital. She had bed sores all the way through to her bone. And until she didn't come home when her visa expired, we didn't know that she was in the hospital. So, because that's the only time my mom's family ever calls me is when they need something that costs money. I got a phone call because they needed a $70,000 jet to bring her home. And I said, well, I'm not taking her home. I'll bring her to my house. So I did that. And I had the opportunity for 3 years to have her within a mile of me, either at the hospital or at the recovery center. And just, I would go down there every night when I couldn't sleep. And I got to see kind of where I get my fire from, because I never understood. I was like, why does everybody follows the rules and then there's me? Well, my grandma didn't follow the rules. She worked during World War II and she had 7 children, and she got divorced. She left her abusive husband and she didn't get remarried. And when she was 6, she named herself because the people who were adopting her out of the orphanage, the judge said, well, what are you going to call her? And they said, well, we're going to call her Alice. And the judge looked at her and said, what do you think about that? And she said, Shannon, it took everything in me. And all I was thinking was, if I say no, they might leave me. They might not take me. But if I say yes, I hate the name Alice. And so she said, with the loudest scream, I whispered, I'd prefer to be called Gloria. So that's where the title of the book came from. But I said, wow, with the loudest scream, she whispered. And the nun that bathed her every Sunday, her name was Gloria. And she said that to this day, she feels like that is the only person who's ever loved her unconditionally, was a nun named Sister Gloria. So
Is that was that the nun who took care of her for 3 months while she was in this hospital?
Nope, that was the
Oh.
nun that took care of her when she was 6 years
When she
old
was
in an
6 years old.
orphanage.
Okay, got it. Oh, well, that makes sense because the naming it. Forgive my
Yeah,
inability to chronologically follow the story.
that's okay.
I'm,
So
I was trying to put it together, but yeah, okay, it makes
yeah,
sense.
so that's the name of the first book is I'd prefer to be called Gloria. And
Nice.
the story of how she was taken from her home and basically living in an orphanage like Annie, and all of her experiences growing up, and then backwards, the insight of what that has done and what she's learned and all the stories. So it'll be pretty amazing when it finally does come out. I was just with her about 3 weeks ago, and I asked her a few more questions, and I'll probably keep adding to it the longer she lives. So
That's nice.
it'll be pretty awesome.
And when you do public speaking, what do you enjoy most speaking about?
Most of the time, I'm hired to speak about really accepting who you are, or figuring out who you are, and not having shame or guilt around it. Kind of Brene Brown-ish. Except for when I started it, I didn't know who she was. And then somebody came up to me and said, oh, you're a fan of Brene Brown? And I said, who's that? And then I read her stuff and I said, oh yeah, actually I am a fan of her. So I was raised in the LDS church. And I left that when I was 15 and never have looked back. And there's a bunch of people that are about my age that are, for the last 7 to 10 years, that have been leaving the LDS church, or that had children young, and now they don't know who they are. They were brother so and so's daughter, then they were brother so and so's wife, then they were John's mom, and now they're empty nesters, and they're 45 to 55 years old, and they don't even know their favorite color. And these women are literally having psychotic breaks and nervous breakdowns, and they can't think for themselves. So there's a whole niche group of women that just need to hear somebody say that, hey, you're not alone, and you're going to be okay. Just guilt and shame don't help you. And what do you feel guilty for?
Yeah.
For liking pink, like yellow, like purple, like hiking. That's okay. Your husband doesn't like hiking. That's okay. You don't have to like everything he likes. Learn to ride a bike. Go for it.
Yeah.
You want to get a job? Great. Go get one. What if you fail? Are you going to die? No, you're not. Then fail. Like, I've failed thousands of times. Thousands. And I'm not dead.
Yep.
So fail. Let's fail right now. Like, let's go do something. We're probably going to fail because I have no idea how to do that. But let's go fail together. Let's go trespass in that. Like, let's go trespassing somewhere. They're like, what? Let's go to the Goodwill and get something that we want. Just $10 budget, whatever you want. And you'd be shocked how many women can't just go pick something out for themselves. So I've been doing a lot of that the last 7 to 10 years.
Nice. Where are the environments that are bringing you to speak on these topics?
So it's interesting, when Orlando was on, I borrow a lot of my audiences. So if I have a friend who's speaking at a conference, he might say, hey, I met this woman, or I met this group of people. They could really use you. And they were already an established audience at a different conference. And he'll say, hey, you should have a women's retreat. I have these 10 people that I interacted with put together a retreat. And so I have a girlfriend who's got a great property in Arizona. And we just reach out to those people and say, hey, we're having kind of like your Loom thing.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's an invite only. And we make sure that the people that we're inviting are specific to that demographic. So we don't have, a 19-year-old that's trying to find herself and what college she's going to go to, and a 60-year-old that is, dying of cancer and trying to figure out where she wants to be buried. Not all the time, but there are times when, if they're on the same spiritual path, then we will put those together, because those are usually a much smaller, more intimate group. We did one about a month and a half ago that had every generation, but everybody was on the same spiritual path of basically leaving the LDS church and saying, I feel empty inside because I have no community and no sense of where to go now, because I still want God. I just don't want it in this faith. So where do I find that? And so it was a much more intimate, just a group of 8 women. And when they said, can I bring someone else? I said, nope. No, I only want people that I've vetted. I don't need people who are going to be drinking. I don't need somebody who's going to sneak marijuana in, because although I don't care if you want to do that, I don't need that at a retreat of mine. Mm-hmm. I need you to be clear-minded. I need you to be ready to focus. I need you to be ready to do the work. So
I think it's beautiful that you're helping those women do that. It sounds like it's a very real passion project, and it resonates deeply with me. While my target audience is definitely not niche down to women who are leaving the LDS church. I definitely have a passion for anyone who's deconstructing from any inherited beliefs that they didn't
Mhm.
consciously choose on their own. And so there are certainly people who are leaving various different faith traditions that were inherited that I work with, but there are people who are breaking free from the inherited ideas of success when it comes to hustle,
Mhm.
when it comes to business and entrepreneurship and all the
Mhm.
other things. And yeah, so I definitely resonate deeply
Yeah.
with that, and I have worked with many people in similar situations, just have not niched down to that. But it's beautiful that you have that passion and that you have those opportunities. I think it's great.
Yeah, it was different at first because I didn't plan on going that niche.
Mm-hmm.
And now, as people are wanting to rejoin the church, they're kind of like, "Oh, Shannon, what do you think about that?" And I said, "You know, the great thing, it doesn't matter what I think.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what I think. What do you think about that? And how do you feel about it?" They're
Yeah.
like, "Well, I feel good about it. I feel like it's my choice now." I'm like, "Great. That's exactly it." Because when you're, like you said, you're born into something and you're not brainwashed per se, but you're just indoctrinated and it's all you know. It's very different than when you leave for 10 years, you see what's in the world, and then you have this epiphany of like, oh, I do want that. Great, then go back.
Yeah.
But don't have guilt or shame about it. And then when you're back, appreciate everything about it, or don't,
Or
but
appreciate
just be okay.
what you want to appreciate,
What you want exactly.
and be compassionate and understanding about the things that are not aligned.
Right, exactly. Pick and choose and don't feel guilty about what you don't want. Just be you and be happy about it. And if you're not
Yes.
happy, make a change. And if you don't want to make a change,
Don't make
then
a
don't bitch
change.
about it. Yeah, just
Well,
don't make a change. Just don't. But oh, yeah.
yeah. Well, that's great.
So
Shannon, I'm so thrilled that our paths crossed today. Thank you so much for joining. It looks like I've reached my 2:30 p.m. There's nobody else that's
have.
been in queue. I'm happy to. By the way, I'm not rushing us off. I know that you had some work that you're doing there. I'm happy to stay as long as you want, but at the same time, I'm free
No,
to.
I'll join you again on another day. I got a lot done. I designed 5 t-shirts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 t-shirts.
Nice. I love it.
So now I'm going to put that project away and I'm going to go work on my tan.
Awesome. Enjoy it. And I will look forward to seeing you again. I will definitely be back tomorrow from 1 to 2 p.m. and on Thursday from 1 to 2:30 tomorrow, and on Thursday 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. all Eastern time. And then several
Perfect.
days next week as well. So always a
All right.
pleasure. Many blessings,
Thank
and
you.
we'll see you again soon. All right.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.